And at this moment, we have here Leander Brenneis from the AGPB, and he will tell us, he will introduce us their best practice projects. So please, big, huge applause for Leander.
So, thank you for joining our breakout session. I'm Leander Brenneis. I'm the head of the office at Austrian Green Planet Building. So, to start, what is Austrian Green Planet Building? Austrian Green Planet Building is an initiative of the Federal Ministry for Climate Action, Environment, Energy, Mobility, Innovation and Technology, together with Advantage Austria. Austrian Green Planet Building, in short, is AGPB. AGPB honors outstanding achievements of Austrian companies abroad in the field of sustainable building. Our main focus is on energy efficiency and renewable energy. So, what does AGPB do? Like I said, we honor Austrian companies for their outstanding achievements abroad in the field of the sustainable building and construction. We present the build projects to worldwide public. We offer a simple workflow. Afterwards, I have two guests here. They were awarded several times with the Austrian Green Planet Building Award yet. I heard there are many more to come. And so from project registration and the collection of the necessary evidence to comprehensive communication package for award-winning buildings. So there are no costs for the project owners, so their effort is minimal. You just have to talk with me and deliver all evidence needed. So what do these, there's some pictures from our latest award ceremony. It was in September last year. As you can see, the awards were given by Federal Minister Leonore Gewessler, some representatives of the Swedish, German and British embassy. So there's always a big audience, also politicians. So like today, afterwards, there will be our, like Miroslav told you, our 2024 awarding ceremony, and I hope we get a picture as this as well. So what do these buildings have to fulfill? Austrian companies were significantly involved, like in the planning, the realization, and/or supplied essential components. They comply with basic requirements of Klimaaktiv. This is a national Austrian certification scheme for sustainable construction by the Federal Ministry for Climate Action. They do not use a fossil-fueled heating system, so the excluding of oil, gas, coal, and so on has to be proven 100%. The Austrian, they use renewable energy systems, examples given here, like photovoltaic, heat pumps, biomass, district heating. So they are particularly energy efficient, like the insulation of the building services. They avoid questionable building materials and often use renewable raw materials. Yeah? As landmarks, buildings, they stand for sustainability. They can provide evidence of these characteristics. What we do at AGPB for you is we create a communication package for the award-winning projects. Yeah, it's including an award plaque for the building, AGPB certificates. We produce a short video with key facts and images, which will all be published on our website. Fact sheets, press release, we have a LinkedIn channel, we disseminate via social media. Yeah, and we have more than 30 buildings worldwide already awarded and there will be many more in the next years, I hope so. Like here's the Advantage Austria in, I think it's in Nordics, sent a delegation to the Staatshuis Växjö, which was awarded last year, and they handed out the award plaque to the building, and now at the Staatshuis in Växjö, there's this plaque on the building, and always when you walk in there, you see it's an Austrian Green Planet building. Perfect. So now I'm very happy to have two people here, like I said, several awarded with the Austrian Green Planet Building Award. First one is from WIHAG, Johannes Rebhahn. He will introduce the Nanyang Technological University to us.
Thank you, Leander. Yeah, there's a slight risk that somebody has seen me already on stage today. I will keep it quite short, and I'll talk only about one project. Yeah, we are very proud that we won that award today. Yeah, the company in the background is WIHAG. If you don't know WIHAG, just remember we are the pioneers in timber engineering. We do that since a while, and since ever we have done the most impressive lighthouse projects in the timber industry. The one with the longest span, the tallest building, the most complex building, the first building, and so on. And the question is always also, why do you make it in timber? I mean, of course, because the architect, the clients wants to see timber. It has a different look, it is naturally. But nowadays, maybe the most important argument is simply because of sustainability. We are in Austria here. Austria is a kind of forestry country, and 48% of the area of Austria is covered with trees. So it makes sense that a lot of the leading timber industries are based in Austria. If you think on CO2 emissions worldwide, then the building industry is responsible for a big chunk of that. The building environment alone is for 38% responsible, and the building materials are for 12%. Doesn't sound much, but if you think that aviation is around 2 to 3%, it's really a high value. And this is coming mainly from the cement industry and steel industry. And therefore, the answer can be timber to reduce that 12% to a fairly low number. Nowadays, every building material has to have an environmental product declaration. Ours from WIHAG says, okay, we have a negative number on CO2, so a minus in this case is a positive thing for the planet. But now to the project itself. It's Asia's largest timber building by volume, so almost 13,000 cubic meter of mass timber have been shipped to Singapore. And it was around 2016 when Singapore decided to make that building in timber. It's one of the largest buildings in Singapore. And they simply said, okay, let's make it in timber. Singapore has no tradition in timber. They have almost no forest. But they said, we want to be a front runner. We want to make a very sustainable building in that city. These are the pictures of the rendering. They engaged Toyo Ito, a real celebrity architect, Pritzker Prize award-winning architect, and they designed that 6-story building, which is not really high, but the total volume and the total floor area of 40,000 square meters is really large. You see that section drawing that means they don't just say, okay, let's make it in timber and therefore it's sustainable. They made much more thoughts about it. They reduced all the air condition requirements by engaging and having much more environmental and natural ventilation, so the wind can blow through the building. They have, of course, PV, they use the rainwater, and so on. So you see here how the building is built up. The system is quite easy. You have a glulam column, a glulam beam, and a cross-laminated timber slab, and then you build up store by store. The gray points that you see are the staircases and lift shafts. They have been left in concrete simply to give a bit more stability in lateral perspective, and to have a bit less fights with the fire authorities. They love to have the staircases in concrete. There's no reason for it, but yeah, it's easier to get over that line. In our factory, we produce really the glulam. That's like a kind of IKEA flatback that we deliver to site. So fully pre-assembled steel parts that on site you just stick them together. You have maybe just some steel screws to put it together. So if you would see a guy with a chainsaw on the side, you know something went wrong. But that's fairly seldom. So it's really sticking together, lifting it with the cranes, and that's it. So these are some columns. Okay, here you see a picture on site already. You see columns, beams, and cross-laminated timber panels. So that's the system. 2 sticks, 1 panel, and then you go ahead. Yeah, we are in Singapore. So it's not only raining every day, there's also a lot of sun, so sun protection is quite important for that one. Yeah, celebrating the last container because it was quite tricky to send it during the pandemic to Singapore, and also the Suez Canal blocking, if you remember, was at the same time. So we yeah, had some difficulties, but the client, of course, accepted that, understood that, but we all were quite happy when the last elements have been there. You have to, yeah, understand Singapore is a highly regulated state, so they check everything, even if everything is already confirmed in the Eurocode or in other codes. For instance, everybody knows that timber burns, but it burns constantly. It burns 0.7 millimeters per minute, and due to this fact, you can design the timber to a certain fire resistance. 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours, whatever. But the Singaporean authorities wanted to check it again, so they burned. We went to universities and burned again the timber, and the result is what we knew already. Just, yeah, that you see that this highly regulated state even builds then in timber. They wanted to know a bit more about it, but they build in timber. And these are a few slides then of the finished project, where you see that open spaces where the wind can blow through. And yeah, it's for the whole team, for Toyo Ito and his team, for the main contractor, and for us a big success doing that really huge building in timber in Singapore. I think that's one of the last one. This is the award, which we get probably today evening. And yeah, thanks a lot. And I'll hand over to Dawid.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me here. My name is Dawid Michulec from NEUBAU Best.energy. We are building physicists and energy designers based in Vienna, and we are responsible for the most energy-efficient buildings in Asia, Kazakhstan, and Russia. Today I will show you some examples what we have done. I tried to get an overview about the projects we have done international. 9 of our projects got Austrian Green Planet Building awarded, and these are the projects. We started in south climate, in south humid hot climate with a museum, over a shopping center in cold climate, in North China with a cold climate as well, office buildings, a mosque, a church. You see there are different usages of different buildings with different challenges in different climate zones. Our work is exciting, and I will show you some details. First of all, you saw the picture. We start in Jiaxing, in South China. The challenge is the humid, hot climate. How to design a building which is in passive house quality to adjust it to the climate. We have a very high building tightness at 0.16. That's much higher than the most buildings in Europe. We have very good building optimization done there. And maybe the video is working, then you can see some pictures.
Ich muss noch mal drücken.
All right. As an engineering office, we're supporting developers, architects, and designers. That means the architecture, it's not in our hand. Maybe this building will not win an architecture award, but we can prove and guarantee that it's the most efficient building in South China. It's Passive House certified. We have an PV with 600 square meters, over 600 square meters. There are more than 2,000 square meters office space. And the challenge was the cooling system is ceiling cooling. With the hot climate, it's quite a challenge because then you have a dew point problem, which is managed by the ventilation units. And it's working. It's working since 3 years already. And we have a good feedback. The second project I will show you is not an office building as well, but a church. Our church project started basically in Astana with the Mosque project. The Mosque project is in the capital of Kazakhstan, in the north, in Astana. And we were able to realize a mosque in the middle of a capital, which is producing more energy over the year than it needs. That means we had a very, very good opportunity to find new clients as well. The feedback was that high that the president of Kazakhstan visited this project, and the project was awarded by the Austrian Green Planet Building Award. We got connected to decision makers there by the Advantage Austria, and because of this project, not only the Islamic community, but the Orthodox community called us that they would want to have a similar project like this, but for their religion and for their people. And this was the second project more north in Kazakhstan. That means we have a climate where there is minus 45 degrees. If you have something like this, it's really challenging to survive there, especially to build there a building which is self-sufficient. That means it is not a huge building, but we made it there. It's around 150 square meters church, and is completely self-sufficient in this extreme cold climate. That means we have around 600 square meters in PV and this is enough for cooling and heating the whole church. These two projects shows that not only positive energy is coming from the buildings, but it's electrical energy which is sold to the cities where they are standing. Yes, and just a short outlook for the future. Because of the mosque in Astana, in the capital of Kazakhstan, we were asked by the architect for designing a mosque which is more than double the size, with around 10,000 square meters, with a similar architecture in the south of Kazakhstan. That means, I hope in the future it will be awarded as well. And in China, we are currently on certifying Passive House Premium, is the highest possible certification of Passive House in a hot, humid climate and office building. Right, this is a short overview how Austrian Green Planet Building is supporting us in our work worldwide, and it makes sense to go for efficiency. Thank you.